Sheila Carter's world is crumbling around her. And for a character who has spent most of her life navigating through betrayal, manipulation, and violence, this moment of vulnerability is both tragic and explosive. As the days unfold on The Bold and the Beautiful, Sheila, portrayed by Kimberlin Brown, is fighting an uphill battle to maintain the fragments of her once powerful life. The most significant blow comes from her own husband, Deacon Sharp, Sean Kanan, who seems to be pushing her further away with every passing moment. Sheila's journey on the show has been a whirlwind of highs and lows. But now, it seems like she's teetering on the edge of losing it all. As she tries to hold on to whatever humanity she has left, the question looms: will Sheila return to her old, more dangerous ways, or can she finally find redemption? For years, Sheila has been the black sheep, the villain in the shadows, always plotting her next move to regain control. Her actions have been a mixture of ruthless decisions and desperate attempts at love and acceptance. However, despite her villainous reputation, Sheila has long desired the comfort of a family, particularly the one thing that always eluded her: genuine connection. After a lifetime of rejection and pain, she finally has a granddaughter, Luna Nozawa, Lisa Yamada, who is about to give birth. In many ways, Luna represents Sheila's last hope for a true family dynamic, one where she can break free from the cycle of her toxic past. But fate, as always, has other plans for Sheila. Deacon's growing disdain for Sheila is making it all the more difficult for her to cling to any semblance of a normal life. Sheila has tried to be the good wife, the one who stands by her man, but Deacon's refusal to be involved with her is causing cracks in their marriage that may be impossible to fix. Despite all of Sheila's efforts to keep their relationship intact, Deacon is determined to distance himself from her, leaving her isolated and vulnerable. Sheila's anger is palpable, and anyone familiar with her character knows that when Sheila is cornered, she can be one of the most dangerous people on the planet. But this time, it seems like Sheila has lost more than just Deacon's love. She has lost the only person who ever truly accepted her for who she is. Now, faced with the reality that her marriage is likely heading toward divorce, Sheila is running out of options. Deacon's rejection is the final straw, and Sheila is left with nothing but her anger and her burning desire to have a family of her own. What makes this situation even more complicated is the presence of her granddaughter, Luna, who, at the moment, is imprisoned and pregnant. Sheila can't help but feel a deep, almost obsessive need to protect Luna and the unborn child she carries. Luna represents Sheila's chance at redemption, the one thing that could give her life new meaning. But in order to secure a future for herself and her family, Sheila will have to pull off one of the most daring plans she has ever attempted. Anyone who has followed Sheila's journey on The Bold and the Beautiful knows that she is no stranger to deception and manipulation. She has faked her own death, staged elaborate schemes, and even escaped from prison in the past. In fact, some would say that Sheila is a master at evading the law. Now, faced with the prospect of losing Luna to the prison system, Sheila's mind races with possibilities. The first and most obvious option is to break Luna out of jail before the baby is born. A move that would require all of Sheila's cunning and resourcefulness. But the question remains, can she pull off such an audacious plan without being caught? And if she does succeed, what will it mean for Luna and the baby? Sheila's history is filled with a long list of criminal activities, including kidnapping, child endangerment, and even murder. Her obsession with family has often been clouded by her need for control. And this time, it seems no different. Sheila is willing to go to any lengths to ensure that she has a family to call her own, even if it means resorting to illegal and immoral methods. The idea of helping Luna escape prison and raising her unborn grandchild is both an act of love and a desperate attempt to secure a future for herself. But is this the right decision for Luna? Can Sheila truly provide a safe and nurturing environment for a child? Or will her criminal tendencies put them both in grave danger? As the story unfolds, Sheila finds herself at a crossroads. With her future uncertain and her emotions running high, her desperation is palpable and her longing for a family is almost tangible. But in her quest to have the family she's always wanted, Sheila risks losing herself entirely. She is faced with a harsh reality. If she wants to have Luna and her grandchild in her life, she may have to return to her old ways of deception and violence. But in doing so, she might also lose any chance at redemption she has left. The emotional and psychological toll of Sheila's current predicament is immense. She has always been a survivor, but even she knows that survival sometimes comes at a high cost. The thought of losing Deacon, the man she thought she could trust, is a crushing blow. Sheila's desperation grows with every passing day, and her mind begins to turn darker. What lengths is she willing to go to in order to secure a future for herself and her family? And will Deacon's rejection be the final nail in the coffin for Sheila's attempts at redemption? In many ways, Sheila's situation mirrors her past. She has always been a woman driven by her need for power, control, and love. But as the years have passed, the consequences of her actions have caught up with her, and she is now forced to confront the reality of her choices. Sheila's relationship with Deacon has always been tumultuous, and her desire for family has often been her greatest weakness. But as she fights to keep what little she has left, Sheila will have to decide whether she can change her ways or whether she will return to the darkness that has always defined her. Will Sheila Carter once again embrace her dark side, or will she find a way to redeem herself and build the family she so desperately desires? As the days unfold on The Bold and the Beautiful, Sheila's future is uncertain, and her journey is far from over. But one thing is clear: whatever path Sheila chooses, it will be a path filled with drama, danger, and intense emotional stakes. The coming weeks on The Bold and the Beautiful will see Sheila confront her past, her present, and her future in ways that will leave viewers on the edge of their seats. Sheila's story is far from finished, and her next move could change everything. Will she find a way to create the family she has always dreamed of? Or will her past catch up with her in the most devastating way possible? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure: The Bold and the Beautiful is not done with Sheila Carter yet. Lee Finnegan's role in the unfolding drama of The Bold and the Beautiful has taken a dark turn. One that could change everything for her and those around her. The once respected doctor, known for her kindness and good intentions, is now facing the repercussions of a series of morally questionable decisions that have placed her at the heart of one of the most scandalous storylines in recent memory. The tension has been building, and as the weeks progress, the fallout from her actions becomes even more severe, with new revelations threatening to destroy her career, her relationships, and her freedom. The story begins with the revelation that Lee has been complicit in covering up Luna Nozawa's, Lisa Yamada, supposed death. As the audience knows, Luna has not died, but rather was manipulated into believing she had, in order to protect her from the law and her past. What started as a well-intentioned act of compassion, a mother's desire to save her granddaughter from a dark fate, has spiraled out of control. Now, with Luna back in custody, Lee's role in her escape is under intense scrutiny, and the consequences are rapidly catching up with her. Lee's motivations were always rooted in a desire to protect Luna, but her decision to take matters into her own hands rather than allow the legal system to run its course has set off a chain of events that will forever alter the course of her life. The world Lee tried to create for herself and her family is now coming undone, and the walls are closing in. The fact that Luna was never truly dead is the least of Lee's problems. The bigger issue lies in the manipulation, the cover-up, and the unanswered questions surrounding Luna's disappearance. Lee's actions have opened the door for an investigation, one that will inevitably unravel the lies she has worked so hard to conceal. As the weeks unfold, Lee finds herself facing an unexpected interrogation from none other than her own son, Dr. John Finnegan, Finn, who has just learned of the dark secret his mother has been keeping. Finn is horrified by the truth. The woman who raised him, the person he trusted most in the world, has been complicit in not only faking Luna's death but also in allowing a dangerous fugitive to live under their roof. Finn's anger is palpable, and it's clear that his relationship with his mother will never be the same. What makes this situation even more tense is the fact that Lee's actions have directly impacted his own family, particularly his wife, Steffi, and their children. As a father, Finn is now questioning the integrity of the very person who was supposed to protect and guide him throughout his life. Can he ever forgive his mother for what she's done? The emotional fallout for Finn will be profound, and it's unlikely that he will offer any immediate forgiveness, especially considering the gravity of his mother's betrayal. However, Finn is not Lee's biggest concern. As much as the tension between mother and son escalates, the real threat comes from the police and the growing investigation into Luna's disappearance. Luna is now in custody, and the authorities have begun to ask difficult questions about what happened during the time she was missing. Why was she reported as dead, and why did Lee go to such lengths to protect her? These questions could have dire consequences for Lee, as the police delve deeper into her actions and uncover the extent of her involvement in covering up the truth. With the law closing in, Lee's position becomes increasingly precarious. The hospital itself, too, has become a major point of contention. Lee, as a respected doctor, should have followed proper medical protocols, but her decision to remove Luna from the hospital and hide her away under false pretenses is now a serious violation of medical ethics. The hospital board could easily revoke her medical license, particularly with the revelation that Luna's disappearance was covered up for so long. The fact that a patient, especially one as high profile as Luna, could simply vanish from the hospital records without anyone noticing is a glaring oversight. And the authorities are likely to question why Lee, a professional, didn't follow the correct procedures. Lee is not just under investigation by the police but also by the very institution she has dedicated her life to. But Lee's problems don't stop there. The Spencer family, particularly Bill Spencer, Don Diamont, and his son, Will Spencer Jr., Finnegan's stepson, are now holding Lee responsible for what happened to their son. Will's traumatic experience, which led to the sexual assault charges, is directly linked to Luna's actions. And the Spencers believe that if Lee hadn't taken Luna in and kept her hidden, none of this would have happened. Bill, who has already faced immense personal turmoil, is determined to see Lee pay for her role in the situation. His influence, combined with his legal resources, could pose a serious threat to Lee's career and freedom. The Spencer family's wrath could very well lead to Lee being dragged through the courts. Not just professionally but personally as well. The legal consequences of her actions could be severe, and as the weeks unfold, it becomes clearer that the Spencers will stop at nothing to make Lee accountable for the chaos she has caused. The fallout from Lee's decisions is not limited to her professional life. Her personal life is equally in jeopardy, and the strain in her relationship with Finn is only the beginning. Steffi, Finn's wife, has always been a strong-willed character, and it is clear that her trust in Lee has been irrevocably damaged. As a mother herself, Steffi understands the lengths to which a person might go to protect their family. But Lee's decision to hide Luna's pregnancy and involvement with Will Spencer is a bridge too far. Steffi's protective instincts over her family will undoubtedly lead her to take a stand against Lee. And the tension between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law will likely reach new heights. Steffi will have to make a difficult choice. Stand by her husband, who is grappling with the shock of his mother's betrayal, or support her family and put an end to Lee's influence in their lives. As the investigation intensifies and the pieces of Lee's actions begin to fall into place, the consequences of her choices will become even clearer. She may lose everything: her career, her son's trust, and her place within the Spencer family. And yet, there is still the possibility of redemption. While the road ahead looks bleak, Lee may still have an opportunity to make amends for her mistakes. However, this would require her to come to terms with the full extent of her actions. Something that is not easy for someone who has spent a lifetime hiding behind lies and deception. Will Lee take responsibility for her mistakes? Or will she continue to spiral deeper into the web of lies she has created? And can she ever regain the trust of those she has hurt, particularly Finn and Steffi? As the drama unfolds on The Bold and the Beautiful, Lee Finnegan's fate hangs in the balance. Her role in Luna's escape and her cover-up of Luna's pregnancy have set off a chain reaction that threatens to unravel everything she holds dear. The coming weeks will undoubtedly bring more twists and turns as Lee grapples with the consequences of her actions, while those around her struggle to pick up the pieces. In a world where secrets never stay buried for long, Lee's past is catching up with her, and the fallout promises to be catastrophic. Will she find a way to redeem herself? Or will she be consumed by the very lies she tried to protect herself and her family from? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. The Bold and the Beautiful has only just begun to unravel the complexities of Lee Finnegan's secret life. The week of October 20 to 24 promises to be a turbulent one on The Bold and the Beautiful. Filled with shocking revelations, emotional confrontations, and dramatic twists that will keep viewers on the edge of their seats. This particular week marks several game-changing moments, as long-standing relationships are tested and secrets are brought into the light. Steffi Forrester returns to Los Angeles with her children, Kelly and Hayes, only to find herself plunged back into chaos as the shocking truth about Luna Nozawa's survival and pregnancy comes to light. Meanwhile, Sheila Carter, desperate to salvage her crumbling marriage, pleads with Deacon Sharp for another chance, and Bill Spencer reassesses his position on Luna's actions. With new characters like Remy and Daphne making their entrance, the drama is set to reach explosive heights. Here's a breakdown of what to expect in this action-packed week on B&B. Monday Madness. Steffi's return to Los Angeles should have been a joyous occasion. After all, Steffi, along with Kelly and Hayes, is back home, hoping to reunite with her family and finally put the recent traumatic events behind her. But her homecoming quickly turns from happiness to shock when Finn, her husband, reveals a bombshell. Luna is not only alive but also pregnant with Will Spencer's child. The truth about Luna's survival sends shockwaves through the Forrester family, leaving Steffi in disbelief. She had been led to believe that Luna was dead, and now she's forced to confront the devastating consequences of Luna's actions. Meanwhile, Poppy Nozawa, Luna's mother, is also dealing with the aftermath of Luna's crimes. She warns Luna that Bill Spencer, who had previously bailed her out of jail, will not come to her rescue this time. Poppy makes it clear that Luna will have to face the consequences of her actions on her own. This is a pivotal moment for Luna, as the reality of her situation begins to sink in. Her hope of being bailed out once again is dashed, and she must now confront the brutal truth of her past actions. Tuesday turmoil. The fallout continues to intensify as Steffi becomes increasingly irate over Luna's survival and her pregnancy. Steffi, who has been a victim of Luna's machinations, including being drugged, locked in a cage, and nearly killed, is determined not to let Luna use her pregnancy as an excuse to avoid the consequences of her actions. Steffi's fury is palpable, and she refuses to let Luna manipulate the situation to her advantage. The stakes are high, as Steffi grapples with her anger and frustration while trying to protect her family from further harm. Meanwhile, Bill Spencer, who has been a key player in the Luna situation, reassures Katie and Will that the custody battle for Luna's child will be an easy win. Bill is confident that he will secure custody of Luna's unborn child, especially considering Luna's criminal history and the fact that she's currently in prison. Bill's self-assurance in this matter makes it clear that he believes Luna's actions have sealed her fate, and he's determined to gain control of the child's future. However, the spoilers hint that Bill may be overestimating his position, and things may not be as straightforward as he assumes. Wednesday wildness. In a desperate attempt to salvage her marriage, Sheila Carter pleads with Deacon Sharp to give her another chance. Sheila's world has been falling apart ever since Deacon discovered that she knew Luna was dangerous, but failed to warn anyone. Sheila had hoped that Luna would change, but instead, Luna became even more of a threat, ultimately shooting both Sheila and Liam Spencer. Now, Sheila is desperate, knowing that her relationship with Deacon is on the brink of collapse. She begs him not to abandon her, hoping that her pleas will convince him to stay. However, Deacon is conflicted, torn between his love for Sheila and his realization that she has kept dangerous secrets from him. Can Sheila convince Deacon to give their marriage another shot, or will this be the end for their troubled relationship? As if the tension between Sheila and Deacon wasn't enough, the spoilers reveal a new mystery brewing in Los Angeles. A character named Remy is introduced, someone who seems to be hiding something. Remy doesn't want his name mentioned in connection with Forrester Creations, raising suspicions about his motives and his role in the unfolding drama. What is Remy concealing, and how will his presence impact the Forrester family? The introduction of Remy adds a layer of intrigue to the already complex web of relationships and secrets surrounding the Forrester and Spencer families. Thursday throwdown. Elektra, another new character, begins to piece together the truth about Will and Luna's relationship. She uncovers the disturbing details of Luna's drugging and sexual assault of Will, and she starts to connect the dots between Luna's actions and the pregnancy. Elektra's realization is a turning point, as she begins to question the motives of both Luna and Will, and she may be the key to uncovering the full extent of Luna's crimes. Will Elektra confront Luna about her past actions? And how will this revelation affect the dynamics between the characters? Meanwhile, Taylor Hayes steps in to provide therapy and guidance to Deacon regarding his troubled marriage to Sheila. Taylor, as a trained therapist, takes the opportunity to counsel Deacon, helping him navigate the difficult decision of whether to continue his relationship with Sheila or end it for good. As Deacon and Taylor engage in their sessions, it becomes clear that there is a deep emotional connection between them. Sheila, already struggling with her deteriorating relationship with Deacon, becomes jealous and insecure. Taylor's presence in Deacon's life only intensifies the tension, and Sheila becomes increasingly paranoid about losing him. How will this situation unfold, and what will Deacon ultimately decide? Friday finale. Bill Spencer finally comes to terms with the fact that Luna's actions were deliberate. He admits to Liam, Will, and Katie that Luna intentionally drugged Will, got him pregnant, and tried to trap him in a web of deceit. Bill's decision to stop defending Luna and acknowledge her culpability marks a major turning point in the storyline. Luna's crimes can no longer be swept under the rug, and Bill's shift in perspective could have far-reaching consequences for her future. Will Bill's newfound clarity lead to legal action against Luna? And how will her family react to the realization that she is a criminal mastermind? Finally, Daphne, another new character, starts asking questions about Carter's relationship with Hope. The introduction of Daphne adds yet another layer of mystery to the unfolding drama, as it's unclear what her true intentions are. Is she simply curious about Carter and Hope's relationship, or is there more to her involvement in the Forrester family's affairs? This new character could play a significant role in the future of Carter and Hope's complicated love story, and her presence promises to stir things up even more. A week of explosive drama. The week of October 20 to 24 on The Bold and the Beautiful promises to be one of the most intense and explosive weeks yet. With Steffi's return to Los Angeles, Luna's shocking survival and pregnancy, Sheila's desperate plea to Deacon, Bill's changing stance on Luna, and the introduction of new characters like Remy and Daphne, the stage is set for a whirlwind of emotions, confrontations, and life-altering decisions. The Forrester and Spencer families are on the brink of chaos and the stakes have never been higher. Will Steffi find a way to protect her family from Luna's manipulations? Will Sheila be able to repair her fractured marriage with Deacon? And how will the new characters shake up the already volatile relationships in Los Angeles? One thing is for certain, the drama is only just beginning. Tune in to The Bold and the Beautiful for a week of unforgettable twists and turns.